Content is queen. So, because content is queen, I wanted to make a video around my content schedule for 2025. So, I am doubling down on content. It is really, really important to me that I am putting valuable content out into the marketplace. And content, I think, is really, really important in this marketplace and this time of business for a few different reasons. Whether good, bad, or ugly, the business that wins is not the business with the best product. Unfortunately, it is the business with the most attention. So, content is what drives attention. Content is also the freest type of marketing that you could have, right? So, when we think about the different types of marketing strategies, whether it's presenting at a conference, whether it's sponsoring an event, whether it's running ads, like all those things actually require investments and money that's paid traffic. Content is organic marketing. The expenses associated with it is really just time. And so it's such a low lift way to be able to generate attention into your business. And then lastly, content is the way to be building trust with your audience. It's what allows people to binge you, right? So you don't actually have to physically be online for people to learn more about you, to experience your expertise, for you to position yourself as an authority. If you're generating content, you are actually allowing people to asynchronously build trust with you, right? So that's why content is so important. So I have been in my content bag for a while. Okay. Haven't just started doing content. I've been doing it for a minute. And I actually want to show you my 2025 content schedule. So that way you see what it looks like from our company's perspective of pushing out content. Okay. So I'm going to share with you at a high level what our organic content looks like. And I'm going to strategically pick the pieces of content in the business that I would consider to be like our anchor content, right? So we send a lot of emails during the week, but some of those, if those promotional emails, like I wouldn't consider that necessarily content because it's serving for the purpose of selling. But I am going to outline from a social media and email standpoint what are the anchor pieces of content, okay? Hey there, I'm popping in really quickly to make sure that you knew about my seven-figured business school. It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while, I teach live for 5 days straight. Baby, I'm still a teacher at heart, and it gives me so much joy to teach about the foundations of a seven-figure business. During the 5 days, I'll teach you how to package your offers, I'll teach you pricing, I'll teach you $1 million sales that aren't salesy, and I'll teach you how to find folks to go and pitch your offers to immediately. So do not wait. Go ahead, head to the show notes, and I want you to click the link to sign up for our next business school. I'll see you there. So let's first start with email. So I send a weekly newsletter, and my weekly newsletter goes out on Thursday at 8 a.m. So if you look at kind of what I have here on my whiteboard, I've just sketched out the days of the week across the side. I just have times of the days: 8 a.m., 12 p.m. I have, this is 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. All right. So I just have time, days of the week. So my newsletter goes out once a week. And that newsletter, I can then take and repurpose into other forms of content. So uh, from that, I can get a social media post. I might turn it into a reel. So I try and repurpose content to be able to push out on other platforms. So I'm going to focus on Instagram and YouTube. Now, I post on TikTok as well. I also post on LinkedIn, but those are the two platforms that I consider to be my anchor platforms. From a short form standpoint, I prioritize Instagram. From a mid to long form standpoint, I prioritize YouTube. So let me first share with you what the short form content looks like and how I'm posting that. So I create a post on Instagram. My goal is actually to post 3 to 5 times a day. So on Instagram, I am posting at each of these time slots that you see. I'm posting around 8 a.m., I'm posting around noon, I'm posting around 3 p.m., I'm posting around 6 p.m., I'm posting around 9 p.m. Okay. So if you zoom back up, and I haven't even added Saturday and Sunday, but those are a similar schedule. If I'm posting 3 to 5 times per day, and that content most of the time is reels. So this red, that's IG. All right. And then the blue that we have here, that is going to be email. All right. Now, everything that I have down here on IG, if it is a reel, I am also repurposing it to YouTube. So if it is a reel, I define short form content, and short form content I define as anything under 90 seconds. I'm also cross posting all of that to YouTube. So if I'm posting 3 to 5 times a day on IG, I'm also posting it on YouTube. So as you can see, I am showing up on all these platforms. I'm also reposting it to LinkedIn. I'm also reposting it to TikTok. Don't hang out as much over there, but this is all the content that I'm pushing out. Now, on YouTube, there is some content that I'm creating specifically for YouTube that I'm pushing out. Okay. So I have a podcast that drops once a week, and it drops every Monday at 7 p.m. live on YouTube. So that happens every single Monday. That is being pushed out. And then what I'm actually experimenting with this quarter is twice a week pushing out on YouTube 2 mid-form videos. And when I say mid-form, I mean 5 to 15 minutes, pushing that out on the platform. So that at a super high level is my content schedule. It looks like a lot, but I want to remind you, I've been doing content for a number of years. I first started with posting every day. Then I got to 3 times a day. Now I have ramped up to 6 times a day. Plus now I'm layering on specific YouTube. So when it comes to the mid form and the longer form of the podcast, I really don't cross post that anywhere. Now, I may use that to repurpose it into shorter clips. So, some of these, for example, some of these reels might actually be podcast clips. So, for example, if podcast launches on Monday, I might have this reel, and this reel are podcast clips that are coming from that podcast. If I have these 2 mid-form videos, I might have this and this be clips that are coming from the mid-form video. If this is my newsletter, I might have that newsletter, make it into a video that I post here on that time slot. So all of these aren't in isolation, its own separate content. A lot of this is repurposing. And part of the biggest mindset shift that I had to go through when it came to content is first realizing it's a matter of a system versus generating new things all the time. It's how can I take one piece of content and repurpose it into different modalities that now one piece of content becomes 3 to 5 pieces of content? How am I diversifying my formats of content? So you see here, I got short form, I got mid form, I have long form, I have my written content, right? So I have different modalities of content. And I think the value of being able to show up in the marketplace with this level of content that's being pushed out is it's giving my audience an opportunity to binge me, right? Where I'm pretty much going to be on your timeline. Like you may not see all the pieces of content, but it's going to be hard for someone to follow me and for me not to show up because of the amount of content that I'm pushing out. Hey there, I know I'm jumping in at a really juicy part of the episode, but I wanted to make sure you knew about a super special opportunity that me and my team have available. So imagine if you had a 90-day plan that outlines every single step you need to take every single week in order to generate at least 10K in your business. And that's exactly what me and my team do during our 7-figure strategic planning intensive. It is a live 6-hour workshop where we walk you through building your 90-day strategic plan to make more money in your business. Now, you have the opportunity to join us at our next intensive, and in order to do so, just click the link in the show notes to book a call with my team so we can tell you all about it. All right, we'll jump back into the episode and let's get back to this good fire content. I think the other thing to be able to note here is with this level of content that I'm pushing out, it gives me so much data where I am able to see what's working, what topics are resonating. Is there a particular form that resonates on IG versus YouTube? If I'm posting a video on IG and it was all right, but then it kicked off on YouTube, it's given me so much data to be able to quickly iterate. So the last thing that I'll touch on where folks are just like, yo, Erica, this is a lot of content. Like, how are you actually creating all of this? Well, I write my newsletter once a week on Monday. So during that work block, that's when I'm writing my newsletter. And then when it comes to the actual content itself that I'm pushing out, I am a batch girl. Okay. So for my podcast, I batch that once a quarter where we record all 16 episodes during the course of 2 days. So that is batched. When it comes to reels, I batch my reels once a month where I'm creating at least 30 to 40 reels during that time. I have a social media team that I work with that also helps me curate reels. We do batch content 2 days, once a quarter, to where we're creating another 30, 40, 60 reels during those 2 days together. And then for mid form, I am batching my content about once every other month for 1 day. So pretty much 1 day per month, I have a batch content day. It might be podcasts, it might be mid form, it might be reels, but that is my way to be able to get this level of content done, is to have dedicated uninterrupted time to be able to knock it all out and then just be able to set up to post. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And if you're just like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, I'd want you to go and check out my other video of why it's not overwhelming. It might just mean that you're a beginner, and it's totally okay to be at an early stage of your content journey, to building the systems that you have in your business to push out content. So if you found this to be really helpful, let me know in the comments, give me some feedback, hit that subscribe button so that way you're in the loop with future videos. And then I would love for you to share it with a friend who would find value in this video. Keep an eye out for our next video dropping with valuable content, and I'll see you on the next one.